Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1143 of our daily content grind, and because it is a Monday, of course, it is time for a news roundup. A little bit of a programming update before we begin. I will let you know that I will be occupied on Halloween and the 1st of November, meaning I am going to cut my I'm going to cut the questions for my monthly Q&A. Probably on Tuesday night. Please get them in like the next, let's say, 36 hours if you want a question to actually be answered in that one. I gotta do it a little bit ahead of time, so fair warning. But that's then. This is now. Now is the news, and we start off with a fascinating thing from Takara Tomy. They're producing a brand new Transformer line all their own. They have not done this in a hot minute, and it's a fascinating line. So all we have is this grainy potato quality picture to go by. So what we're seeing here is what looks like a fairly simplistic Optimus Prime and Megatron. Kind of like very brickish, very like simplistic, more along the lines of like what I would expect of, say, like, like almost warrior class level transformation engineering. But it seems like that's kind of necessary for what else it's doing. Underneath this gray Optimus and Megatron, there is a whole slew of animal-based Transformers. I'm seeing what I believe looks like a giraffe, a lion, a T-Rex, a Spinosaur, some kind of wolf, something perhaps. Hard to tell what some of these are. It's a very grainy photo. But point being, on the left you are seeing how the gimmick works, where they are actual individual Transformers, but the beasts can part form into combination parts for Optimus and Megatron. So the line itself seems to be called Wild King or Wildo King. It's a little bit weird in the translation here. There is no like Ramanji to actually tell us how it's spelled in English, but it seems to be vehicular Transformers combining with beast Transformers. And judging from a very small picture at the top here, it looks like Optimus and Megatron, and I assume pretty much everyone else in this line, is going to be highly modular. It looks like both arms, both legs, and even the midsection of the characters are going to be able to dismantle and combine in different ways. This is fascinating. This is fascinating. So for Power Ranger fans, this would be kind of like how things worked with which one? Was it Dino Fury? I can't remember the name, but the one where basically the dinosaurs were like Lego built. I'm getting the same vibe of that. And it's thrilling because it's such a different line and it's a different idea, and I'm actually really excited to see where this goes. If this is just like a one-off gimmicky thing, or if we're gonna get a whole year's worth of these. Apparently, any official news updates, even pre-orders, might launch as early as next week, and I'm really excited about that. Apparently the cost for these is around what a deluxe costs these days in Japan. You have multi-packs that come with some of the animals. Can't see what the prices on the individual animals are. It's getting too small. Looks like they actually have a shelf date of like February, so these are getting close. Interesting. I mean, it's thrilling to see Takara Tomy do their own Transformer line again. I'm really excited, and it's very different, which I think is what we desperately need in Transformers right now. Okay, let's continue on with the toys that we've already seen, but we have very, very good looks at them now. We have the stock photos for our two new Constructicons, Scrapper and Bone Crusher. Yeah, these look absolutely beautiful. Now, seeing them up close, yeah, we can actually tell a few other things that was hard to tell before. Yes, Bone Crusher's arms are short and stubby. I don't think there's any getting away from that. Have you seen the original toy? They don't they don't exactly have reach. This isn't terribly far off. I'm more concerned with the fact that it doesn't seem to have waist articulation because the bucket loader is going up from pelvis all the way to chest. That's a little disappointing for me. That's the part where I get a little bit disappointed. But everything else seems like it's okay. Everything else seems fine. See, yep. And then, yeah, there's the bulldozer. Looks fine. The packaging we've seen as well. I'm going to show you another look at the packaging. We get to see the back of it here. And something I really like, and I wish this was done earlier in Studio Series, is actually like a photo of them appearing in the movie. Granted, he's just an arm of Devastator that's barely visible in this scene, but let's be honest, you're buying the set for the Devastator. There's not going to be too many people that have them all separated out. There's Scrapper, who looks great. Scrapper looks definitely better than Bone Crusher, partially because Bone Crusher's like dependency on accuracy means he's just all green and kind of dull looking as a toy. Scrapper's got a little bit more going on. He looks a lot more dynamic and interesting. Remember, he's the Voyager. So he is the Voyager. Bone Crusher is a deluxe. They are the same size, however, and we're going to go into photos of that too. I don't like they use the same photo. They could have used the shot of Scrapper in the Astro Train. That would have made sense. That would have given us a better look. Well. Still, cool to see. We also have official unboxings of them, which give us a size comparison. So, Scrapper is a little bit shorter than a standard size Voyager, more close to Ironhide size because of the part density that goes into the toy, because he has to be the ankle of Devastator, so he's got a lot more ratcheted joints built in. I don't make a ratcheted pun because Ratchet's standing there, that's just how it is. Fun thing about that, though, is look at the size of Bone Crusher. He is exactly the same height, even though he is a $10. He's $10 less than Scrapper is. So unfortunately, we are dealing with short-sized Voyagers for two of them, Mixmaster being the other. But the deluxes that form the arms, including Scavenger, are going to be large-sized deluxes. So that actually gives me a little bit more interest in how they're approaching the Constructicons. It's fascinating. Yeah, I just like how they're... Also, it seems like Studio Series actually ditched the scenery. That extra tray inside the box that gave you a scene to set their toy up on. According to Hasbro, nobody used it. Barely anybody used them. So, yeah, we got more efficient packaging now, which is, not a bad thing. So, I'm looking forward to these. I know a lot of people are looking forward to these, because they do seem like they're going all out and making them very, very nice. I think these are still waiting to be punched up. I don't know if these are, since these are in box, I don't know if these are, final colors or not, but I know they want the green to hit more. So, we'll see when, probably when leakers get them, how they're actually going to look. Masterpiece G, Masterpiece, the G stands for a lot of things. MPG is showing off their next train bot, Yamabuki. This is in hand, someone actually has this now, and it's another train based on the Yellow Doctor, or the Doctor Yellow. I knew I'd get that backwards. Diagnostic train out of Japan, which is a very popular train, and it's not the first train in the set that was released in those colors. I recall seeing that these are based on a recolor of Raiden that was done in Japan, but I haven't seen that one in a long time, so I don't know how accurate that one is. I don't know how accurate that statement is at this point, since we now have two yellow trains in the mix. I really feel like these are just being done for train collectors at this point. Especially because if I scroll through these photos, you might notice that the only time you see the robot mode is actually in the package shot. There is no shot of the robot mode here, as if the person who bought this was not interested in the robot mode. Yamabuki, on the other hand, we do know is actually a fembot. So our first train bot female. Congratulations. Cool to see. I still don't like the color. It looks like it's been left out in the sun for approximately 32 years. So it's not for me. And I've seen the train bots. We've gone over it many times on this channel. Nah, I don't think they're worth what they asked for, but it's cool for the people who are after them. We talked a little bit about them redoing Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie, and here we actually have in-hand shots of that. One toy reviewer got like a lot of these really early. I don't know if they're stolen, I don't know if they're leaks, but for whatever reason, yeah, someone got their hands on an entire wave of stuff and waited for it to be officially announced before dropping literally everything about it. So I don't know their source. I'm not going to question it at this point. But point being, we're just going to enjoy the photos here. Bumblebee is much closer to how he looked in the Bumblebee movie with all the brand new tooling done. It's 1/16, but it is a heavy I believe it's a heavy retool of the previous attempt. Yeah, he just looks a lot more solid. He's got a lot more rounded parts. Looks like a lot of the tech greeble has been smoothed out as well, because Bumblebee doesn't have nearly as much in his movie. Remember, the original toy was back when they thought it was going to be a prequel to the Bayverse, so everything was a lot closer to how that Bumblebee looked. He looked like he was, the Camaro, basically. This, on the other hand, looks fine. This looks a lot better. Yeah, and then, yeah, the Volkswagen mode still looks good. The yellow, inconsistent as always, but, I'm not expecting them to ever fix that at this point. It looks like a marked improvement. It looks like a marked improvement. I would actually be more interested in this than I would be the previous version. The other one didn't really hit with me. This one, maybe, because the aesthetic hits a lot closer to the Bumblebee movie. Now, one of the things that's not pointed out in this gallery on TFW 2005 is the fact that the wings can actually hinge down and hide behind the arms and back a little bit, which does make his silhouette a lot closer to how it actually looks in the movie. I wish it didn't have the door wings at all, but I will accept this as an alternative. I'm glad they actually engineered that in so he could look a lot closer. Very, very nice job. Very, very nice job. As long as we're talking about Bs, here we have B127. This is the Studio Series Deluxe that should have been out when the movie dropped, but of course Hasbro's been super weird about Studio Series figures of brand new movies. He, again, looks pretty good. Now, I did a review for the Prime Changer version, and you'll know that I was very glowing in my praise of that version. I do think it is a very, very good toy. This one seems to have a very different engineering style to it, but it seems like it's hitting a lot of the right notes as well. I do like the more golden color it has compared to the Prime Changer version. It looks like he's got much, it looks like a lot of the vehicle bulk ends up forming the bulk of the legs, which is not necessarily bad. He's got that rifle that everyone was passing around in the movie. He's got 2 knife hands and 2 arm cannons. Though, do I have a photo of that by comparison? Thank you. Does not have the combat mask. That one seems missing, so expect another version of this toy out at some point. Yeah, a little bit bigger than some of the Bs we've gotten too, which is nice to see. Yeah, I do really like this design. I do think this version of it does look really, really good. I'm eager to get my hands on one. I just wish, they weren't taking so long. I still have friends who are not aware that Elita 1 isn't due until like Q3 next year, which is absurd. Because she doesn't even have a Prime Changer to pass the time with. But we will patiently wait. Apparently, if it's in a reviewer's hands, this is not going to be too far off. We're going to take a break from his photos in order to take a look at Rise of the Beast Ape Link in hand. So here we've got a much better look at it than we had previously. We can see there is a lot more distinction between it than Primal than initially expected, like that I initially thought. A lot more silver and gray to Ape Link. Obviously the face mask to separate them a little bit. I still wish there was more. I wish they had done different color treatments to the chest or different tooling. I wish they had a completely different head that wasn't just Primal with his battle mask up. It looks fine. And if I was interested in this toy, I would probably take the Ape Link version just because it's a more unique take. It's a lot more like a more burly, more armored up version of the design. I do think I like the look of it better. It just doesn't look like the type of toy I'd go out of my way for. And you had to go out of your way for the Leader Primal, because that one was weirdly rare for some reason. This is fine, though. This is fine. I don't know if I'll pick it up or not. It might be one of those, like, if I catch it on clearance, I will probably grab it. Let's go back. Let's go back to these pieces, and we will take a look at Dark of the Moon Hatchet. I'm shocked. Like, it's been, like, what, a year and a half since the render leaked, and just now we are actually seeing it in hand. It physically exists. It's a thing. The jaw opens. It's got the quadruped style position, body type and articulation. So, weirdly enough, yeah, like, it's going to have, like, standard, like, Transformer articulation. It's just going to be in more of, like, a beast position. So, I'm expecting it to have at least decent articulation. It's a very rare toy that has no robot mode. To vehicle to beast with no robot is an exceptionally rare thing in this franchise. I think, based on that alone, this toy does have a certain amount of merit to it. Even if it is, not the most interesting of characters, a lot of you are probably going to buy it just to complete your set of dreads, which was long overdue. But that said, it looks fine. He looks good. I'm glad people are finally going to get their hands on this one. I'm glad it's not just vaporware anymore. Another shot, another from the same guy. Our Skywarp looking, kind of like Skywarp. He looks pretty in purple. I'm not a big fan of the Gamer Edition Starscream mold, but you know what? I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan of the big beehive on it. But, the design don't look bad in purple and black. Purple and black is just a really, really good color scheme. Like purple, black, and silver, really, really good color scheme. So, you know what? Fine. That's fine. We will accept this. It's fine for what it is. But then you can see, like, they also did Galvatron. Now, I was one of those that kind of scoffed at the idea of doing Studio Series 86 Galvatron. Because, like, they're just gonna, because it's just a repaint of the same toy that is shelf warmed literally every time they've released it. I don't even think it's that bad of a figure. Just for some reason, that toy just does not perform well, no matter what you do to it. Think about this. Think about this. So they did the Kingdom version. They did the Kingdom version. Then they did the Legacy version, with taking off the stupid battle damage paint apps. They did the translucent purple one with the grid, like the grid lining on it. They did the toy accurate version. And I think all four of those you could find on clearance somewhere at some point. I think all of them shelf warmed to a degree. And now they're going to release that toy a fifth time. But I will admit, I think this is the best looking one. It frustrates me that I've had to buy this toy multiple times just for Hasbro to finally release one that is screen accurate, but here we are. I didn't realize how inaccurate the previous Galvatron was until I see it side by side with this version. If I can find the photo. There we go. Look at how stark the difference is. Now, obviously, there's going to be plenty of people who prefer the bright purple. That's fine. For me, I kind of like the metallic indigo. I like how much it separates him from, like, Cyclonus. I don't want them both to be, like, purple. This looks really good. Like, this looks spot on how, like, I would expect Galvatron to look. Like, this is the color. This is the shape. I don't know if I'm going to buy him again just for the sake of upgrading, but I'm thinking about it. Like, the side-by-side, yeah, that changed my mind a lot. And it's not even the indigo. It's not even like how nice that color looks. It's the face paint. Like, the metallic face paint, I realize, is not cutting it for me compared to, like, the more cartoon accurate of the flat gray. I don't know what it is about that. It just looks nicer to me. So, this one's going to be, like, a very, like, opinions will be widespread on this one. I'm not thrilled with Hasbro releasing this toy so many times with, like, minor upgrades to each one. But you know what? we at least get to a point where, like, there should be a version of this toy for everybody by now. I'm not going to go through the gallery because we just went through it, but also someone else got their hands on it, so you can see even more photos of how nice this new version of Galvatron looks. Without all the junk on it, Hasbro. So, a lot of this news this week has been just in-hand shots of all the new stuff that's coming out, and then, of course, like the Wild King stuff, which is incredible. And then very little in the terms of anything else. There's in-hand shots of Yellow Park's AMK Pro Starscream, which does look very, very good. As someone who's had a couple of AMK Pro kits, it is a very, very nice play pattern. They build very, very nice toys. And yeah, he looks really good. He looks really good. These are very articulated. There's die-cast parts. It's not too hard to assemble. There's little light-up parts. Like, yeah, he's got a lot of things going on. It doesn't transform, obviously, but if you just want a nice action figure of Starscream, it's an easy one to go for. You know, this is not bad in the least. And we're going to wrap it up today with some of the more interesting things that came up this week, which is literally just this. There isn't any other weird news or anything. But out of nowhere, someone dropped here. Let me actually just look it up for real here. Let's see. Brian A. Miller on Twitter, a former general manager at Cartoon Network, dropped a few pieces of artwork from the concept phase of Transformers Animated. So we have one of the original takes on Optimus Prime from that series. You can see where, yeah, he's got a different look for Prime, maybe a little bit younger. He definitely he has the axe he always had. You see the ladder in the back, so they might have been planning for him to be a full fire truck at some point. Here's your main cast, probably back when this was Transformers Heroes. And you can see there's actually a much wider cast than what we eventually got. You see the Red Alert design that pretty much stayed that way throughout the entirety of Animated, but never made it to full series, full time, where here is apparently, like, potentially a main character. Yeah, I see two twins with goggles on their heads, which would likely be, very likely be like the early Jetfire Jetstorm concept. Two different characters that could probably be, I assume the one in front is more likely to be Prowl than the one in the back. No Bumblebee in the mix. No Bumblebee in the mix. I mean, the obvious Bulkhead is there. Fun little personality stuff. This is, and then here we have a SWAT team. And this is apparently our, like, original Bulkhead's concept. So, he didn't have that, like, big, heavy set design yet. He's just like it's like a kind of a big lug of a character. Okay, yes, I was correct. I hadn't seen this slide to realize, oh, this is Jetstorm and Jetfire. It's fascinating to know that two characters that came so late in the series were actually in the original design specs. That's actually kind of cool. There's another shot of the Optimus. Yeah, so just really fun historical stuff. So we're going to leave it there for this news roundup. So lots and lots of toys on the way, if you were not aware. Yeah, it's kind of exciting right now with how much we've got to look forward to. So there's your news roundup. Thank you everyone for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.